Well, people that are interested in crocodiles. I can't say I'm a fan of a crocodile because these are really dangerous creatures. And today we're talking about the Nile crocodile, which is found in 26 countries throughout Africa, and it kills hundreds of people every year. It can grow up to 5 meters long and weigh up to 750 kilos on average. But there have been ones that weighed over 1,000 kilos and were exceeding 6 meters in length. So this thing doesn't mess around. It's a top apex predator. It'll eat anything it can get its hands on, and they tend to be social. So if there's a really large animal, they'll just, attack it like piranhas, I guess. Don't want to mess with these. So I can't say fans of crocodiles, but interesting to learn about these things. So these things have 68 conical teeth to grab onto things. And this is one of the rare reptiles where the males will also help protect the eggs. Yeah, so most, I guess, males and just don't care about their offspring so much, whether that be human or other animals. Haha, I'm kidding. If you have kids and you're a guy, I'm kidding. Anyways, this is made, I believe, by a brand called Daytime Studio. Google Translate says this is Daytime Extinct Species Atlas 101. The translation kind of changes a lot. Anyways, reading some more Wikipedia, this thing, the bite force of this thing is 22 kilonewtons or 5,000 pound-feet. That's disturbing. These things are very adaptive. They can, obviously live near the water. They can live in brackish water, fast-flowing rivers, swamps, dams, tidal lakes, estuaries. But even in Madagascar, they've adapted to living inside of caves. And although generally it lives in fresh water, like all crocodiles, it does have salt glands, so this thing could live in the salt water. And they've been recently captured in South Florida, so that's disturbing. Like, alligators are tame compared to crocodiles, apparently. So these things can swim underwater for up to 30 minutes if they're threatened, and if they're totally inactive, they can stay underwater for 2 hours. So if you see a crocodile, you better wait over 2 hours before you want to make sure that thing's not around or coming up for air. I don't know, I just want to go in the water. So although these things will eat fish, they mainly prey on land animals because they ambush them at the water's edge. And they have no fear of the ants, anything up to twice their size. So they'll take on things twice their size. Lastly, these things can grow 70 to 100 years out in the wild on average. That's a long time. Some crocodiles in captivity, though, have lived 50 to 60 years. So they tend to do better out in the wild. Interesting. Okay, well, let's look at this thing. Pleasantly, this is not the size of a real crocodile. It's quite small. In fact, the overall length of this thing is about 8 centimeters. And this is a rigid resin kind of thing, and sadly I think it's a used one just based off of that paper. And you can see the paint is chipped off the tip of the tail, which is unfortunate. It has some big scaling here, and it varies quite a bit. It gets smaller around the vent there. And the legs are barely existent. The front legs are so small, it's crazy. And I guess those are the hind legs right there. I didn't even know where they were, but it's really comical how small the legs are. Nice paint wash over this thing with a brown paint wash, and you can see those teeth there painted white, pretty nice. The nostrils, I guess those are them right there, no extra paint. And the eye detail here, this is a decal or a paint? Let's see. I think it's a decal, just based off the pixelation, which isn't good. Hopefully that doesn't peel off in the future. Or you'd have to clear coat it if you want to make sure it doesn't. But I'm afraid if I clear coat it, it might ruin the paint here. This is hobby clear coat. Vallejo clear coat is pretty inert. A rattle can might cause problems. You can see all the variations in the scaling. Round, oval, rectangular, and then you have these, I think they're called osteoderms, bony plates in the skin. And those things vary quite a bit. Ridging up here. Yeah, a lot of carved or molded detail. Not much else to it, really. It's kind of glossy, which I guess could make sense for an aquatic creature. Yeah, it's just the foreshortening of it and how tall it is in the middle and tapering at the ends. It's really interesting. Almost looks like some sort of bakery item, a cookie or something. I oddly now have a collection of crocodilians. So here's a Mizuruki PVC Chinese alligator. It is a very toy-like, and it also looks like it has decals or something for the eyes. It's huge. It looks very toy-like. Just the molding of it is not as crisp. Look how muted all the plates are. Look how sharp and defined they are on this one. And then here's another rigid one by Animal Heavenly Body. This is a Chinese alligator also. And it's kind of in between the two. It's not as detailed, but it's definitely better detailed than that one. At least the mouth on that one's open and it looks very comical as well. So this one just looks realistic as a toy. But these two clearly are very comical looking in their proportions. So I gravitate more to the funny ones myself. But for me it just seems the quality of this is higher. You know, this one just doesn't have as much detail. It's still pretty good, but this is definitely the best one I have. Just a shame that it's so chipped off at the end. I might have to touch that up. I wonder if a piece broke off. Possible. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next cartoon video.